Hey, we're back in the closet.
Yes, we are. We're continuing the little series we've been doing on 11 conversations that could potentially save a relationship. We've gotten through numbers 1 through 5
In 2 podcasts.
and 2 podcasts. So we're going to start with number 6 tonight.
Yes.
Yeah, which I mean, they've been good so far.
They've been good so far.
I think that everything that we've talked about so far, I really do think is a conversation that you could have that could potentially save relationship.
There's stuff you should address for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I think they're all things you definitely should address.
What do you think about spending habits? That's the next one that they talk about. It says that it's, again, this is articles coming from Bustle. So if you're wondering, I'm not just pulling this out of my...
We didn't come up with this.
Right. It says it's important to talk about how each of you handles money and how you want to handle it as a couple. Are you interested in saving, spending, and what purchases can you make without consulting the other? With different spending patterns, there can easily be resentment if one person is thrifty and the other is impulsive and indulgent. Agreeing on a strategy will put both of you on the same page, working towards a common goal. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Runyon?
What are my thoughts on that? I think that obviously it's a known fact that finances are the biggest. When you have problems, that's one of the biggest problems you have in a relationship. So spending habits, I think we're pretty compatible in that way, that we just spend everything that we have all the time.
I don't think that's true. I don't think
No,
we
I'm
spend everything,
kidding.
but
I'm
I think
kidding.
that
The thing is neither of us are we're not like big spenders. It's like we don't spend money on clothes or shoes or trinkets.
all the money 100% goes to our bills, our responsibilities, the kids, and then yes,
Food.
we like to eat out on the weekends, maybe once during the week. So yeah, if we were to tighten up anywhere, I think that it would be first on that kind of thing, which we have been, or at least talking about doing.
No, we've tightened up a little bit.
I think we're both really bad at trying to budget. I think that we both are good at, like you just said, not spending money on materialistic things, which there's nothing wrong with spending money on clothes, shoes, bags, makeup, whatever. But I'm just saying, you and I both, we don't do that. Like, I stress out if I need to buy makeup, or I stress out if I, like right now I need jeans. And you tell me, go get a pair of jeans.
Right.
But it's like, it's hard for me to do that because I know we have bills. I know I've just accrued all these medical bills because I don't have medical insurance. I know that the kids need this and the kids need that. So I'm just like, you know what? I'm just going to wear the same 2 pair of jeans I always wear. I only wear them a couple of days a week anyway. What's the big deal? But I think we do agree on that. But I think
we're very similar in that, because I do the same thing. I want to get something. Like
Right.
I'm dying to get this hat, and I've looked at it like 10 times online, but I can't buy it. It's it's $20 some dollars.
Right.
But it's like it's so hard to make it when you got a family of 6, and I get nickel and dime. We get nickel and dime from the kids out of hundreds of dollars a month, probably on just nothing.
Yeah.
And then you've got college stuff that comes up where you got to pay a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, where do I find that?
I know.
And it's so. I think our thing is right now, it's just surviving.
It is surviving, but I think that both you and I could both benefit with budgeting. Like, I think we're both really kind of
big time. We're way too loose.
I think we're both really kind of bad at money.
We're bad at money. I'm bad at money. I've always been bad at money. It's like one of us needs to be this stickler.
Right.
I think that's the thing. But we don't fight about it. We get frustrated about it.
Right.
But I think we both recognize neither of us are doing anything to hold it tight.
Right.
So it's like we don't get angry with the other one when things get tight. We kind of come together. With most relationships, I think, start pointing fingers at the other.
Right.
And then they start fighting because it's like, how did we get here? Like, we might say that to each other. How do we get to this place where we need this, and we can't get something this simple until you get paid in 3 days.
Right.
Where other people get nasty fights where it comes to blows. You know what I mean?
Right.
And that's not good blows.
That's what stresses me out, too, is, when you're a paid, and I mean, a lot of people are. A lot of people are a paycheck to paycheck.
A lot of people are.
Type situation. So, it's tough, and the holidays come up, and so a lot of times our fights do stem from money, because we might be really tight, and Jeff may
Creates
say
tension.
It does. It makes me frustrated because I might say, okay, I need to go get the groceries for the week, and he's like, can you just get what we need from Monday to Wednesday until I get paid and then go back? And sometimes it'll rub me the wrong way. I'm like, why can't we just and I can see
the thing is the thing is too that I think this is good for people to hear, because I think people have these sides. Like, I have the opposite side where I know that it could set you in a certain type of mood. One, for a man, it feels awful. One, to have to say anything other than just do what you need to do. Get it. I got this. That kind of hits the ego a little bit. Two, I'm anticipating this. She could think bad of me, or she could get irritated because there's not enough there. And that's going to create. So I have anxiety just trying to figure out how to make it to that day, and then to ask for help really brings in a lot more anxiety.
Okay, ask for help from who?
From you, like saying, "Hey, can you not get this?"
Hello, this is a marriage. This is
I
what
know,
you
but
do.
like you said, I have anxiety because there's a certain thing in probably men and women that says, "I'm anxious about this because I feel like I shouldn't have to be in this position." Like, you know what I mean? I think we have these, but again, we probably have more stuff than we need. We have that. I think in America we all do that. We have more than we need.
A lot of people do. Some people don't.
Some people don't, but we're not minimalists for sure. We're not people that are like, let's just live on,
right,
what we need. We don't need this house. We could have a much smaller house. We don't need this. There's just a lot of things, like you said. If we would budget, maybe get tightened up on stuff like that.
Right.
Then there would be money. You'd be like, oh, we have more money at the end of the month.
At the end of the day, though, whether we have enough money to cover it, whether we run tight or whatever, at the end of the day, our spending habits are the same. Because I think you have a lot of men and a lot of women, too, who just kind of go out, and just buy stuff. The picture on this article is of this woman with tons of bags. Now, when have you ever seen me walk through the house like that? Unless it's Christmas.
Never. It's not your stuff if you are. It's us carrying in the kids' stuff for Christmas.
We're both the same way. What we do for ourselves is we go out to dinner and we will go out for drinks. We don't go shopping for stuff unless we really, really need it.
If our money is prioritized to be spent, our extra money or whatever, it's spent trying to get away from here for a weekend.
Right.
And it's spent on going out on a weekend for a dinner and some drinks. But you're right. I heard somebody today talking about how it's Christmas coming up, and they saw this great deal. It wasn't even for Christmas, but it was because Christmas, the holidays are coming up to, like, this great deal for these linens or towels or something at Kohl's, and I just had to have them, so I bought them. Ordered them, had them online.
Right.
Just because she had to have them. You know what I mean? It wasn't because...
Right. No, I know.
Anything else is just, that's not something either of us do. It's not like I'll come home and say, man, I saw this on Amazon today, and I know we need new curtains, and these were cheaper than normal, so I bought them.
Right.
Well, just because something's on sale.
No.
It's still money out of my pocket.
And yeah. So, we both are spenders like that. There are so many things that we want. We go through Amazon and we want, and hey, listen, if we've had a little bit too much to drink in the evening, maybe I've had an extra glass of wine, I have, and we've talked about this before, the app that we need to try to invent is purchasing on Amazon after you've had some drinks.
Yeah.
Now, we've both fallen guilty of that before.
Well, I think
you bought a timer or something once.
I did. Where did that go?
I don't know where it went. But you bought some timer. I bought some pants from China. and I've bought some
There
other
should be
silly
like
stuff.
we need to invent a bot that goes in and creates an extra cart that pulls your stuff into a separate drunk
Like
cart
past
after
9:30 purchases?
drinking cart. So
Right.
it pulls it into a drinking cart. So the next morning you wake up and you go,
Right.
you tried to buy this, but it was after 9:30. So when you hit purchase, it sent it to this pending.
We just wanted to make sure now that you're drinking coffee instead of wine that you really want
and
this
90%
timer.
of the time I'd go, what in the
No,
world?
I know, me too. Because it is so funny because Instagram will get you. Like I'll be scrolling through and like I so bad want to try these, and this is true. I really want to try these magnetic eyelashes that they keep selling everywhere. I showed you,
Right.
and they get me almost every time. But then I go to look at the price and they're like $119, $139, and they warn you the generic that you see at the store, at Target, and at Walmart that only costs like $20 or $30 don't work. I won't even buy that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right,
but
yeah.
get me a couple glasses of wine, and I might have some
Yeah,
magnetic
give it a
lashes coming in the mail.
So you just get a little more risky. You know what though? I'll give you a tip though. And anybody listening, if you're getting to this time of year and you want something from Kohl's, here's what you need to do. You need to order something on Amazon that you don't really want. You can take it back, and when you return things now, you return them to Amazon at Kohl's. But when you return them at Kohl's, they take it with no questions, and your money's returned within hours to your app if you do the credit on Amazon. If you do, it takes however long it takes to get back on your card if you have to put it back on a card. But the big deal is every time I have returned something there, they give me a 25% coupon that's good for 7 days, I think. 5 to 7 days. So basically, if you're going to be getting some expensive items, and it's off any purchase in the store. So 25% off is a nice.
So you can return items that they don't even sell at Kohl's?
That's where Amazon's return is now. Anytime you return anything now, like when I returned the last couple of things, it pops up and it says just show. Once you get to Amazon, show them the barcode. You scan it, they take it, and they print you out a receipt for it, and they give you a 25% off coupon to Kohl's, anything in the store. So basically, if you got to go there and buy clothes for the kids, why not get 25% off? Now you're only paying 75%.
So they give you 25% off even if it's something that they don't sell in the store.
Oh yeah, it's just for
They
anything.
gotta
for
realize that that's a loophole.
You're bringing people in the store to shop. They know their margins are huge. They're making money. They're trying to get more people in the store. They're trying to get you to come back
Right.
and be a shopper.
Well, that's a good little tip, Jeff. Thanks for the pro
I
tip.
like it. I had got 2 coupons from there and I never used them. But that's our spending habits. We don't just go buy to buy.
Right.
But if there's shoes or the kids need clothes or if you need cologne and you want to get 25% off, order something on Amazon that you want to return. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good little loophole you found there.
I like it.
All right. Tips from Jeff.
Hey.
How to get coupons.
How to get coupons. Get your coupon tips
Is it,
right here.
Is it coupon? Is it coupon?
It's a coupon.
I think it's a coupon.
Coupon.
But it's
Coupon.
not spelled coupon.
It's spelled coupon.
It's spelled coupon.
Coupon.
That's how it's spelled.
It is spelled coupon.
Who says coupon?
Coupon. Coupon sounds like there's a Q on the beginning of it.
Of course there does. So who says coupon?
I did.
Do I just say it wrong? Coupon?
I say coupon too. Coupon feels better
Coupon.
coming off the tongue.
Coupon. Anyway.
Coupon.
Are we
Sounds
ready
like
to
you're coupon.
Are we ready to move on?
I'm ready.
Okay, number 7. So we just talked about spending habits. Is number 6. Number 7 is children. Now you and I are past this, but even if some people aren't to that point yet, but if you're in a serious relationship that could lead to a family, you need to get on the same page, whether you want to have children or not. And how to parent them is a huge topic that couples need to discuss, as there is a lot of room for divergent opinions. Isn't that the truth?
It's the truth.
Now, luckily, you and I were raised kind of similar as far as disciplining goes. We were both grounded. We were both spanked. I think we both were punished in the same manner. I think your parents punished you in a more methodical way, where my parents were more sporadic on it.
A little more knee-jerk.
Yeah, your parents were way more methodical, and they had a procedure in place. Because without fail, I think they followed that. Whenever you stepped out of line, you knew XYZ was coming. There wasn't any doubt.
there was
like
no
I
going
knew
back
there
on
could
it.
be I knew there could be version A, version B, or a mixture of version A and B for me. I didn't know.
Right.
So I
Which
think
is also kind of keeps you on your toes, makes you a little nervous, but
yeah, but I think my discipline was more on an emotional level as far as they reacted emotionally, and I think your parents didn't as much, or from what you tell me,
no, not
and what I witnessed.
not often.
With your
It
siblings.
certainly happened, but not often. I'm sure. I mean, I know that when we were at home and we drove my mother crazy when we were kids, it was she'd warn us, and then if we didn't listen, she would line us up in the kitchen and whip us with a wooden spoon, and then she'd tell us, when your dad gets home, I'm going to let him know what happened, which meant if she let him know, if she said she's going to let him know, we knew she was going to let him know. And then he was going to let us sit in our rooms and wait for him for a certain period of time, knowing we were going to get our butts whipped again.
I don't agree with that. I don't think you should get spanked twice. That's not right.
That's in extreme cases. A lot of times she didn't spank us at all. I'm talking about the really extreme cases where we did something that was bad. But on a normal case, she wouldn't spank us. She would just make us wait all day for him to get home, and he would spank us.
She would get in your head.
She would get in our head. She'd let us feel that anticipation, and you would just hope all day that she would forget, or she wouldn't tell him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you'd kiss her rear end all day, right? Hoping she would not tell.
How'd that go?
Never worked. It did for her, obviously.
Right.
But we didn't get in trouble that much either, because it sucked.
I just feel like with our, we were raised similar, so I think that because Jeff and I both, we always knew we wanted kids, and we usually agreed on the number of kids that we wanted.
We
like,
did.
it adjusted as we went. Like, we were like, we want 4. Then after we had one, we were both like, maybe 2 or 3. And then we had another one, we were like, yeah, we definitely want another one. And then...
You never know if we'd had a boy for the second one, who knows?
No, I would have wanted to have another one.
Would you have?
Yeah, I always wanted 3 because I grew up with just 2. And for
True.
some reason, I wanted a bigger family than what I grew up with because I didn't get the luxury of having a sister. So if we just had Maddie and then just say Brooke was a boy, I want them, and still to this day, I hate that Nate doesn't have a brother.
I hate it too, because
that
I
was
grew up with brothers. And
Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I think that I've just always wanted to have multiple. Well, come to find out, we ended up having 4, and we didn't plan 4, but everything is great and wonderful. I'm glad it happened.
Oh, me too.
But yeah, I do sometimes regret that Nate doesn't have a brother. But there's really nothing I can do about it now. He'll have to wait till he's an uncle or something. I don't know, because I'm not obviously having another baby. But what I'm saying is I think we always agreed. But there are some people who I think it is important at the beginning of your relationship, if it's getting serious. I don't think it's a topic that, you necessarily have on the 1st, 2nd, 3rd, or maybe 4th, 5th, 6th date.
That's a little creepy.
I think that it's something when you start talking about a future together, you bring up kids, right? When
Absolutely.
When you're talking about having a future, right?
Oh, yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
do you
When
want to have
you're-
kids?
You got to get into the topics that you're going to say, you don't want it, because that happens.
Yeah,
People go, I don't want to have kids.
I
and
think that it comes up in random conversation too, a lot of times. Even if you're not really talking about your future together, I think that it could come up in a random conversation like, oh my gosh, I cannot wait to have kids. And so the other person's like, yes, they want to have kids, or oh, shoot. And would be a time where they would say, oh, I really never really wanted to have kids, So I think it's important because if you don't agree on that, I'm not really sure how the relationship's going to work. Because how do you talk someone who's always dreamed of having kids into not, or someone who's like, I do not want kids, into having? I don't think it's fair either way.
Well, you can, and if you agree on it, and I have a good friend that this is his world, as he's married, and his wife was adamant from the beginning, I never want to have kids, right? I never want to have kids. It was the decision. No way. He agreed to that, but I think later in life now, I can see him being a really great father.
Mm-hmm. But does he want to be?
He would like to be, I think. But he's not resentful at all. He said that's the agreement. That's what we decided, and he loves her more than anything. Like, he will not live a second without her.
Right.
He would die without her. Like, he adores her. But he's done other things. He mentors kids that don't have fathers.
Yeah.
And he does things like that, I think, he gets that.
Little fix a little bit.
He gets to be that mentor and that thing that a lot of men want. They want to be able to lead
Yeah.
someone and be meaningful in their life. Like a mother gets that, And I think women, like, I think she's a nurse, so she might get that fulfillment out of her job.
Yeah.
But the nurturing the woman, but some
I-
women don't want
I
to
think-
deal with it.
I think I think that those women fall in a way different category. I know there are women out there who do not want to have kids, but I think it's a very small percentage.
Right.
And I'm not judging at all. Please don't get me wrong. But
No.
like in my mind, I cannot imagine a woman not wanting to have kids. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying they're crazy or
No,
horrible.
pretty
I'm just
smart.
saying like.
Yeah. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, I don't think that. I mean, I don't necessarily agree. I mean, agree that they're smart. I mean, I just think it's a decision that they make and a choice that they make. But, to me, I'm so strong in like my maternal instincts are so strong that I want to mother people who aren't my actual kids.
Right.
So I think it just it's just in there. And I guess, these people who don't want to have kids might be thinking the same way, like, what part of you desires to have a human come out of you, and then you're responsible for that for the rest of your life. So I get that. But
Well, and that's
me,
what
like, the whole beauty of having a baby and, like, feeling it and birthing it, and me, I am, like, almost, you obviously had a part of it, responsible for bringing a baby into this world. Yes, you had to deposit something, but I was the vessel in which it grew.
No. And even after, there's the mother's like the most special thing to me. The way I see it, a mother is the most special thing and the most amazing thing in a child's life. Yes, a father's a second to that, and there's things that a father can feel that a mother can't. But there's a whole lot more mother. Like mother, where did I hear it on a? I don't know. A mother has so much more responsibility that they can't even articulate. That's not even tangible, if that makes sense.
No, it makes sense to me.
Which I appreciate in my mother, in you, and the mothers I know. But there's so much that a mother does, like, that's not even tangible, that's not even physical, right? That is so huge for a child's development. But I don't. It wasn't a podcast. It was a clip of an interview, but the guy said the word mother is, to me, is God.
Oh, yeah.
The word mother is God, because that's what she is for our kids. She's God. She is everything for our kids. I think it was Dave Chappelle, an interview, talking about his wife and kids. But it's just like, that was like that hit, and it's like, that's true. It's like, that's when you stand back and you look at the family dynamic, the mother is got a lot of weight on her to. But the thing is, like you said, there's a maternal instinct, and again, like you said, there's certain people that they don't have that desire, and that's okay.
Oh yeah,
right. That's
it's totally fine. I just
they
can't
don't
see
have
it.
that desire, and who knows why? Maybe, and there's nothing wrong with it, but everybody's wired differently. Everybody goes through childhood things. They go through different. Their brains are wired different. So their chemical makeup, but yeah, for us to have kids, you've got to talk about it, and you've got to like, for me, if I were doing it again, and it wasn't you, that would be so important to me when it got serious. Is what type I would want to see, what type of family you came from as my wife before I married you, to see, because that's genuinely probably going to show me what kind of mother is she going to be to my children.
Right.
I think...
Yes, I agree with that, but then I disagree on some extent to it, because sometimes if you come, and I did not come from a bad childhood. I had great parents, but if you either maybe lost your mom at a young age, or maybe your mother was abusive or something like that, I think you learn from that, and I think you could be even more of a great mother because you want to give your child what you didn't have.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I think too that you could have had a great mother and a great childhood, and you could actually be a crappy mom.
Absolutely.
So I don't really think that. I mean, I guess it's a good starting point to kind of look, but I don't think that's where it all lies.
No, it doesn't. But I think the odds are, if they have that desire to be a mother, and they have those instincts, and they have a good system that they came up in, that's going to be the better odds than, let's hope, because you were in a crappy situation, that you learn from it and you want to be better than that. I think that's a very small percentage of people that actually do that and come out. I think those are strong people. But like I said, there's people like we have two kids that are totally different. There's one that's just like you and has the same maternal instincts, and you might have another one that came from both of us that has none of that.
Right.
So you just never know.
Right. I agree. It kind of you just kind of touched on number 8. Moving from kids is kind of goes together with it.
What is it?
Is each other's family.
Oh.
So you and your partner may have different visions of how you want to interact with your family and their involvement in your lives. So it must be discussed. It is important for you as a couple to come to an understanding of the boundaries that you want to set with your family. This will enable you to present a unified front to your families and support one another in the process. And I think that you and I both have, obviously when you're married, there's two families involved, and especially if each side has a strong, family and both parents are living and everything like that. But I think we have really never, I can't think of had any
really
issues
good.
about like when
It's
you want to
been
go to your
easy.
families, we go. When you want to, for
Yeah.
the longest time, our families lived in the same town and we just kind of share. We spent,
Nobody
holidays
made
at
it
the
hard,
same, my family never made it hard on us. Your family never made it hard on us, and we never made it hard on each other.
Well, I think that's the thing I was going to say about it, and I think that most people don't have this, but where we're unique, and I think where our relationship, why it's as strong as it is because ever since we were younger, we decided we're first. And a lot of people say it about themselves
Right.
and their career, whatever. It's like, that's why I'm successful, because I'm first. And not that I don't, but as soon as your mom's first, right?
Right.
As soon as, we've said that about our kids, as soon as your kid becomes first in this relationship of this household we have here, when your kid becomes, when one of my kids is over you,
Yeah.
we got problems.
Yes.
And that happens all the time.
No, it does.
And it's just like people are best friends with their sisters.
Right.
And now their sister's opinion and the sister's thoughts have
Is
more
coming
weight
into your-
than
yeah.
your wife or husband's,
Right.
right? But we both had that empathy side too,
Right.
where we care, but we're first. They're not going to mess. Nobody on the outside, even our family, is not going to mess with how we decide to do Christmas.
Right. Right. Well, and two, I think that a big thing that we have an advantage of that a lot of people do not, and we never had to deal with, is we've been together since we were 15. Okay. I looked at your mom and dad and your siblings as like part of my actual family, like before we were even married.
Right.
Like I admired them so much, and I know that you admired my family, and you love my brother, and you love my parents.
Oh,
and
he's my brother.
We grew up
Yeah.
kind of already blended, even though we weren't married.
True.
Right? So we lived up the street from each other. Now, our families don't hang out. We've never had one Thanksgiving with your family and my family all under the same roof, nor do I
No.
desire that to ever
I don't
happen.
either.
Dear Lord
No.
Jesus. But I'd be
I mean,
so
they'd be
stressed.
fine. They've been in the same.
They've
Like
been in the
they've
same.
gone
Yeah,
to the
but I
house
mean,
and hung out like for
we have-
small periods of
I
time.
know, but we have different traditions, and
Oh, yeah.
my dad would get on your parents. It would just be, and then your mom might get on my dad. I don't know. I just don't have that desire. But what I'm saying is that I want to see your family as much as you do, and you want to see mine as much as I do.
Right.
It's not a situation where, could you imagine, okay, I know we paint this all the time because we kind of have to like put ourselves in, this kind of situation because we haven't been there. Okay, because you imagine something happening to our relationship now. I know it's, hopefully that never happens. I'm just saying if you do. Okay, and so we get remarried. You immediately are now married into this family that you don't even know, and you might not even like, and you didn't grow up with this family. So the things about your family that I don't like right now and you don't like about my family, we know there's things. We can overlook them because they're like our family.
They are a
But
family.
when
yeah,
you
that
just
makes
meet
sense.
somebody and you're just getting married and their mom comes across to you as condescending. Your mom does not. I'm saying hypothetically. My new person's mom.
Right.
Can't accept me, or maybe doesn't like how I dress or something, and then I find that out, and then it makes it real awkward, and then I don't want to go over there. You know what I mean? And then when he says, let's go over to my mom's, I'm like, no, I'm good, I'll stay. And then when I don't show up, she's like, where's Angie?
Which
And he's
creates
like,
stress for him.
well, he has to make up an excuse, or vice versa. And the same, you know what I mean? So I think a lot of relationships start out already like, I know you don't know my family, I'm going to introduce you, and Well, we went through that when we were 15.
Right, and they've known other people that they might have liked that you were married to before.
Right.
Like, they might, my
Right.
brothers may not like this girl because they liked you,
Or maybe, you're going through a divorce and,
It's Yeah,
So
so
it-
now, God, that's so true. I've never thought about that.
Yeah,
But
or traditions are different, I mean,
right.
maybe you're married to somebody all of a sudden and you're like, okay, we're going to go over to my parents for Christmas Eve. And you're like, wait, what? I always do Christmas Eve at my grandma's. Like, I can't go over there because I have a tradition for Christmas Eve. Like, I can't go over to your mom's house because I go to my grandma's house.
Right, since I was a little kid.
Right, so what do you do about
right.
that? We never ran into any of that.
No, well, that's like
Not
you
one
said,
time.
because we kind of figured that out as we were growing because it was like we were family.
But as we were growing, we weren't already grown. Or imagine this. Imagine there's blended families. You're divorced and you're all remarried and you're blending your families together. Dear Lord, I don't know how that works.
No.
So it is important to have these conversations up front because you don't want to not have these conversations about, traditions and about how you do this and about how you do that until it's too late and you're like coming up on Thanksgiving and you're like, we didn't talk about Thanksgiving. What do you mean you don't eat turkey for Thanksgiving?
Yeah,
What do
that's
you mean
crazy.
you're not having... you know what I'm saying? I'm being really
We're
stupid.
not watching football?
Right.
You don't have football on?
No, because we don't turn the TV on Thanksgiving. You could run into something like that, and you're
Yeah,
like, wait,
I'm
what?
out.
Right?
I'm
But if you don't know that up front, you don't know that you're out.
Right.
I just think it's important.
Conversations. Right.
Obviously, a conversation to have not on your first, second, or third date, but as you're growing, together, I think it's a great conversation starter. Like, what are your holiday traditions? Like, what do you do for Thanksgiving? Like, from Halloween on till the new year, what's your practices like? Like, what are your traditions, and see if they match or see if you can, I'm a very
up.
laid back person. I'm not,
Yeah, that's
there are
me.
some things I'm dead set in, but as long as you work around mine, I'll work around yours,
Yeah.
There's not very many things I'm dead set in. But yeah, I just think that's very important. And we've, like I said, luckily not had to run into that, but man, I wish we had people on the podcast that had, and like, what were these issues? And, how did you work through it? What did you have to compromise? I mean, it's compromise. You have to compromise.
Well, I know some of our friends, like, that are in those blended situations, I mean, they even will go their separate ways.
And I think that's okay.
Like, he'll go with his family and he'll go see him or go spend time and she won't even go and she'll go with hers.
I don't think there's anything wrong with
Because
that as long as they do
her
stuff
and
together.
Her kids are all grown up, and him and his kids are grown up, and they weren't together when they were little, and they have no tradition. So they still, her and her kids might go over here and
Yeah.
do things with her family, and he's like, "Well, I'm gonna take my kids."
But I think that's
and do
kind of
th-
healthy.
I think it's kind of healthy too, because it's your family. It's like your parents.
As long as they're not giving each
like-
other a hard time about it.
Right.
I don't think, as long as you're doing stuff together as a blended family, I think it would be, I'm no psychiatrist or counselor, but I think it'd be 100%.
Well, I think it'd be healthy
acceptable.
to say, look,
Yeah.
you're going to go do Christmas Eve with your kids,
Mm-hmm.
right, and your family, and your ex, maybe, I don't know,
Right.
and then I'm going to go do my Thanksgiving or my Christmas Eve with my family, and then we're going to do our Christmas
tradition
with
or-
all
yeah.
of our family, like we're going to come together.
Right.
Now, once kids are older, I don't know how that even works. I don't know if that can be very difficult.
Well, we're going to
But-
face that here before too long. I mean, we have traditions set in place now that we do pretty much with
Yeah, but
our
I'm
kids.
talking more like
I-
blended kids.
No,
like,
I
that
understand,
don't
but I
really-
mean, I understand what you're talking about, but I'm just saying, looking at our not near future, but our future, we have 4 kids. They're all probably going to get married. And then they're going to have spouses. What's that going to do to... So we're going to have to take on the role of being supportive in their decisions that they make and not be petty, which I don't know that I can't be. If you decide, what do you mean that you're not coming over here for Christmas Eve and we're not opening up pajamas that you're getting on Christmas Eve?
Right.
You're not going to be here for that? What are you talking about? That's going to be hard for me. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
And they'll have to start working that out. I mean, so nobody's planning on getting married that I know of yet.
I hope not.
And we don't have grandchildren yet, or that I know of, or that's coming up. But you know what I mean? Like, that's all going to be changing. So we think we're all sitting pretty right now and everything's great. And then, bam, we're going to have to deal with some of these issues, possibly. So, I don't know. But I'm just lucky that so far we haven't had to face any type of family feuds or,
No,
you
nothing.
know, like, fine,
Yeah.
you go and I'm staying.
Right. None of those standoffs.
Right. So anyway, well, we got through number 8.
Number
I
8.
think we can finish up the next 3 in the next episode, because I think it's too much for right now. But those were good ones.
That's great. Yeah, I think we saved the next 3 for the
Kids,
last.
family, spending
podcast.
issues. Yeah,
That was a good one.
it was a good one.
I like
so
it.
There you go.
All right. Have a good evening.
Peace out.